This is Mystic Mama. For everybody who was on here first. Yours is not that bright. So if somebody come on there with comments, you know we gotta answer them their comments. You know how it goes. We gotta get a few things scheduled up, a few things shared, and we're gonna give people time to get on here while we're doing some sharing onto a few pages. Just having a guess. About to have the tea ready.
Get that money to that.
Guys, we're gonna get started in just a few minutes. Just a few minutes, we're gonna get started on this live broadcast on our Tuesday. You know, I don't have a Josh, so you know we gotta do this thing old-fashioned way. Getting a few things. When you come on, you know, let me know where you are, who you are, where you are, that sort of thing. We're gonna be talking about womb health, y'all. Womb health. Get in detail about this in a few minutes with Mystic Mama. She'll be joining us in like 2 minutes. What's up, Shandell? And guys, I need greetings. I need my gentlemen to be on here as well tonight, because guys, we have got to know these things about the ladies. We have to know this about if we have daughters, we have mothers, sisters, but mainly, you know, if you have a spouse, girlfriend, we need to know all these things. Karen, okay, yeah, I guess you got tired of me fussing at. I always fuss at Karen because she'll tell me she watched the show, but she don't ever say nothing. So we got on here. This is Mystic Mama. She's joining us tonight. You know, we just doing some sharing right now before we really kick this thing off. So let's do some sharing. You watching me and 45 at the same time? Look, 45 ain't gonna tell you nothing. You ain't gonna learn nothing new from 45. Gonna be the same stuff you're gonna be saying. So I don't even want to get Mystic Mama started yet until after we do some sharing. You know, once we get all our sharing out the way, then we're going to get started. This one is going into a lot more groups than normal, so it's going to take me a few more minutes to share everything, and then we'll get the blog radio portion going, and we will get this thing started. Hey, new subscriber, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Like that. Like the new subscribers on YouTube. Hey, if you guys aren't a subscriber on the YouTube, please subscribe. Now, thank you, Papa, for welcoming new subscriber. Now, throughout this whole time, guys, I want you to remember the name Mystic Mama. I want you guys to subscribe to her page. She just started her YouTube channel, so we want to see her subscribership like blow up and grow up. So let's get everybody, you know, subscribe over there as well. Hey, how you doing? You got some people on? Your brightness is real low. But ain't nowhere right there. You have to look real hard over there to see some stuff. So, God dog. So many pages that we're sharing onto.
You famous, that's why.
No. Fake fame. It's all fake. It's not real. Almost done. And then we're gonna get started. Hey, you know, you guys can share this too. Share the YouTube, share the Facebook, you know, share it all. Let's get some sharing going. And Patreon, if you're on Patreon, let me know if you're watching on there, because this is my first time broadcasting this on Patreon. I have never done that before. I pressed it, over there working. It's over there working. All right, so we got all that done. We're gonna start go live on the Blog Talk Radio. So you're gonna hear that thing talking in just a few seconds, and then, you know, once it finishes countdown, we're gonna go ahead and get started into it. I need tech support.
Hey, you need a tech person.
I need a tech person to do this. All these goings on.
You love it.
Yep, sure do. got. You know, I think I had to take the microphone out for the Blog Talk Radio. Or do I?
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions. Our service, press 3.
Yeah, I did. It's this one.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? This is I always do that. I forget I was going to do that. So what's up, everybody? How you doing? This is Coach Renz for the Alchemy of Life tour. The Alchemy of Life show. Tonight is going to be another special night. You know, last week we had 2 young men on here. We talked about, you know, them growing up during these holiday seasons, coming from different spiritual backgrounds and how things have affected them. Tonight we're going to talk about what everyone should know about womb health with Mystic Mama, right? Zaire Sab. So what I'm going to do first, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank all my patrons, everybody who's a subscriber on YouTube and Facebook. If you're not a subscriber on YouTube and Facebook, please go ahead and subscribe on YouTube and Facebook to larenzoreid and become a patron, or it's Coach Renz 33 on Facebook. Now, also guys, even before y'all get wowed by the information that you're about to receive, right? I want you to go ahead and write down the name Mystic Mama, and that's M-Y-S-T. Let me make sure I say it right. M-Y-S-T-I-C, Mama, M-O, not M-A, so you get somebody else. M-O-M-M-A. Mystic Mama. Subscribe to her brand new YouTube channel. She now laid down a couple of videos thus far. Subscribe to her YouTube channel and find her on Instagram and Facebook, all right? And her website is mysticmamaherbals.com. So I want you guys to go there, and after we talk about this, you're going to want to go there and you want to definitely learn this information. Men and women, everybody needs to know this, because this affects men's health, it affects women's health, it affects having babies and fertility, it affects like all these different things that she is going to elaborate on, because she is far more advanced in this information than I am. And guys, trust me, there's some things we're going to talk about. Let me go ahead and give you a teaser. We're going to talk about penis soaking a little bit later. All right? All right, dudes? I want y'all to stay tuned, because you need to understand what a penis soak is. All right? So you got to stay captivated by that. Stay in touch with us about that aspect of it. Okay?
And don't forget about male steaming.
And male steaming. That's right. Got to do some male steaming too. On Facebook. Hey, Charlie Brown, how you doing, young lady? All right, how are you? So, without further ado, after all that, let me introduce you guys to Mystic Mama, the womb goddess.
Oh my Lord.
I don't have a sound effect machine, but. Okay, so please take as much time as you need, introduce yourself, and if you feel comfortable, tell your story. Ready, go.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. My name is Zaire Sab, and I am the owner and operator of Mystic Mama LLC. I am an RN, I'm a doula, student midwife, herbalist.
Master
herbalist, excuse me. And I have a specialty with womb wellness. What womb wellness is literally all things containing the uterus, vagina, female reproductive system. I do work with men in their reproductive system, but primarily my focus is female reproductive, because as the universal receivers, we have the awesome privilege of being played with a litany of drama. And the Western medical paradigm usually wants to either cut it out of us or give us medication to make it work right, and it doesn't work. It just makes it worse. So that's who I am in a nutshell. My personal story is I have been pregnant 13 times. I've given birth to 3 live children, and I have 2 left. My 2 boys are almost taller than me, and they were both born early. I had one actually do a long time in the NICU, so I have that under my belt. What I found out about my womb is that it was severely congested. I had high mercury, high lead poisoning, which caused a lot of infertility. And it wasn't until extreme detoxing that I was able to get pregnant. And then after getting pregnant, I had imbalances that lasted 15 years, and I had no idea why. And it wasn't until I was diagnosed with uterine cancer that I was able to start changing certain things about my lifestyle, my eating habits, as well as my medical regimen, in order to be able to have a clean womb, clean mind, clean spirit, and become pregnant again. So that's me in a nutshell. If you go to my YouTube channel, I talk a lot more detail about all that good drama, but for the honor of time, we are not going to get into that drama. I'd much rather get into your questions and actually break down to you what womb wellness is and what is not normal, regardless of what history says is normal for us.
All right. Okay. And now, guys, I'm going to tell you, her story gets much, much deeper. Much, much deeper. And there are some things that I'm going to bring up on purpose that will get a little bit deeper into your storyline. But, so right off the bat, what is the most common problem that women have with their womb? Okay, common 2 problems.
Okay, so the top three are going to be menstrual cycle issues, which are going to include clots, severe pain, bleeding that lasts for 7+ days. Did you ever watch the South Park show, the cartoon? Well, for those of who used to watch South Park, there was a point in time when Mr. Garrison, who's a teacher, he said literally he doesn't trust anything that bleeds for 7 days and doesn't die.
Right. I've heard that term before, though.
That's where that comes from, and that's very real.
Okay.
That's way too much blood. That is hemorrhaging. So that's one of the issues that women suffer from under that category. Another category that a lot of women suffer from is pathologies within the uterus, which is going to be your endometriosis, your fibroids, your cysts, PCOS. And then the other topic is infertility. Infertility comes in a litany of different categories, but primarily ends up being an inverted uterus and blocked tubes.
Okay.
Or congested fallopian tubes, rather.
Now, guys, we're going to talk a lot about, initially we're going to talk about some of the issues that women and men deal with, and then we're going to talk about how to fix these things, how to take care of them. So you got to stick with us if you want to hear about how to overcome a lot of these challenges. So we're still in the physical realm right now, so we're going to stick with the physical realm.
Okay.
Now, we had talked before, and guys, you need to hear this part. If a woman has a UTI, which is a
urinary tract infection,
right? And if she has intercourse with her man unprotected, the man will then have
a UTI.
And then if she gets healed from it by taking some prescription medicine, but he is not, what happens?
Well, 2 things can happen. First of all, you have to understand the anatomy of the men's reproductive system. You have the urethra. First of all, you have the shaft, and you have the bladder, testicles, prostate, all that kind of good stuff, right?
Oh no, he can use this.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No.
Why do I need this?
The urethra.
Oh my God, whatever. Anyway, so I'm sorry. So anyway, so you have the penis and you have this long shaft. The shaft connects into the prostate, the bladder, and whatnot, right? So what happens is if a man is having unprotected sex with a woman, regardless if it's his long-time mate or a one-night stand, if she has any type of bacteria, whether it be bacterial vaginosis, UTI, any type of yeast, anything, it can get caught in his urethra and literally float down to his prostate and make the prostate inflamed. Once the prostate is inflamed, you have other issues like erectile dysfunction, not necessarily blue balls, but it's a symptom sort of like blue balls, where it really makes it hard to urinate. It makes it hard to have that vitality.
Get it up. Say it plain. We grown. Even though we need to have these conversations with our children as well, we're grown. Okay.
So that's what ends up happening. So whenever your mate has, or if she tells you, or you know she's taking antibiotic to cleanse her womb. It's very important to not engage in sexual intercourse. But if you have to have it, I understand. You know, it's like if I don't, I'm gonna go crazy and kill somebody. Wrap it up, just to protect yourself. Why are you waving?
Nah, I just waved my hand. Something flew by.
So it's important to protect yourself because literally what ends up happening is that you end up swapping it back and forth. She gives it to you, you give it to her, and then over time, legitimately, that bacteria pushes all the way down the urethra, ends up in the prostate. And like I said, it can cause severe prostate issues.
Okay. So that's when we're dealing with a UTI, all right?
That's more than just UTI.
But I mean, that can be any kind of...
Anything that's going on with her when she's, you know, either detoxing her womb or if she has an active infection.
So let me ask you a question that people really want to know.
Mm.
All right. At what level, because I don't want to get to the cures yet, but at what level does womb health affect a woman's libido and the condition of intimacy?
Okay, let's see. A couple different things. First of all, understand that the womb is always moist. Okay? Doesn't necessarily mean that she's aroused or anything. It's just the function of that particular organ. It has to be moist. If she ends up having vaginal dryness, it's literally like rubbing sandpaper, almost. And the more she engages without proper lubrication, she can end up having what's called micro tears in her uterus. And those micro tears end up being an opening for opportunistic infections. She ends up with infection. Okay? So that's one way. And then another way, too, is just the simple pain of it all. If a woman's womb is very congested with different pathologies, it legitimately makes it uncomfortable. You know, and then, you know, you have some brothers that are more endowed than others. You have some that are more hyperactive than others, and, you know, trying to do tricks and, you know, hit corners and everything like that. And it literally hurts.
They're trying to do the hula hoop.
They trying to do something. I don't know. But they be going in circles and, you know, dipping and dodging and everything. But
I saw that on the movie.
Oh my God. But it literally hurts. So then it becomes a situation where she doesn't want to even engage in that kind of thing because of the pain. Who wants to be intimate when the entire thing is going to be painful?
Now that's an interesting segue to the mental aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So what type of mental things affect womb health?
Ooh.
Beyond just, you know, she got vaginal dryness or she has the fibroid, which creates this like pressure that...
It can. If they get to a certain size. And then depending on where they're located, because there's three main places where fibroids are actually located. They're actually located on top of the uterus, inside the uterus, or within the walls of the uterus. And usually women that have fibroids have a cyst.
So they have a fibroid and a cyst. They doubled up.
Yeah, they got all kind of just...
Because I knew this one young lady. She had told me how she couldn't have intercourse more than and just a little bit going in. Beyond that, it was painful.
She probably had adhesions or cysts on the outer lining of her cervix.
Okay.
I have a model. Can I show?
Yeah, you got a model.
Okay. All right, so...
She brought toys. I mean, demonstrate... What do you call this?
A model.
A model. Fanny said, is birth control good for you?
No. In a word, no. There's actually natural methods of birth control. Because here's the thing. You actually only ovulate one day out of the entire month. And it's a hit or miss type of situation. But it's only that one day. It's not to say you still can't get pregnant because semen stays within the vaginal canal for up to 7 days. But legitimately, you only ovulate one time a month. And there's ways to track it. But you have to be very... disciplined. Your partner has to be very disciplined. Like, if you're going to use natural methods of birth control, that is not what you use for a one-night stand. You know, if you have a committed situation, that's what you want to use. Otherwise, if you're, you know, hooking up with a one-night stand, it could be a legit hit or miss.
Right, because So when my 3 children were born, the 2 of them, the girls were planned. Like we had the calendar, we was counting days, we was doing temperature control, and because we had this Indian doctor and they didn't allow birth control where he grew up in India. Well, when he grew up in India, I don't know if they do today, but he was like, he taught us all this stuff about how to be able to do it and get it right. And 2 months later, she was pregnant. When we decided to have a second child, it's like 2 months after the decision, she was pregnant because so that's what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it takes work.
It's more than just work. It's discipline. It's the discipline of it, and literally everybody has to be on the same page. If one person is not on the same page, it just goes awry, and it ends up being a thing of we've been trying for 6-7 months, we've been trying for 2 years, and nothing happens. The thing about so let's say about birth control. If you actually read the packaging on birth control, it does It does 2 things. One, it actually introduces higher levels of estrogen into the body. The problem with higher estrogen is that as women, we already produce estrogen. Majority of our foods have estrogen in it. Majority of the products that we use have estrogen in it. So now we have this high level of estrogen, because when you have high levels of estrogen, it decreases the amount of progesterone in your body, which is kind of what keeps a woman from getting pregnant. But the fact that there's so much estrogen, it actually becomes a pathology. And a lot of your cysts and fibroids are estrogen-loving situations, right? So that's one thing that all birth control do. And then the second thing is it thickens your uterine lining, all right? So let's say this is your uterus. Nice, flat, clean, beautiful, all that good stuff, right? You can't deal with you. You start, let's say you have an IUD, because IUDs, especially like the Mirena IUD, it actually tells you on the package that it thickens your uterus. Because when you thicken the uterus, it doesn't allow for the actual ovum in the sperm to attach correctly. So you could get pregnant, but when it attaches to the wall, the extra hormones within the Mirena causes the sperm and the egg to die. But over time, it's thickening, like this, And so what ends up happening is that a woman doesn't have a regular menstruation.
Right.
It may come every month, but it's like super, super heavy. It's very, very long. She has massive clots. She's angry, pissed off. She don't like you as a man. She don't like no one in the house. Sometimes ends up having to, go to the doctor and get injections for pain because they're so intense. And that's what birth control does. On top of all the other crazy stuff it does. But that's the 2 big things that, in the packaging, It tells you it does.
Okay. Now we're going to talk more about fertility. When we get into the cure of the way to help your womb health and get it right, get it tight, and everything else in a little bit. So we don't want to go too far. So you got to stick around for the good parts as far as the curing of it. We'll talk about that. Now you got your model here. You was about to explain something about the model.
Okay. So this is a uterus.
Like I said,
it has a lot of stuff going on with it. It has a lot of stuff going on with it. Oh my God, how many cameras you got here? It has a lot of stuff going on. All of these are different pathologies, okay?
This is what you get when you're a nurse.
Yeah. I was so excited when I got this in the mail. I was so excited, got my disease uterus, yes. Okay, so anyway, so what you were talking about as far as the young lady you were with that was having pain. So right here is the cervix. Okay, this two little bits right there. And right there is actually a cyst on the uterus. Okay, can you see that? That little white thing right there? The white thing right there? Yeah. All right. So what that is literally, think of it like a pimple. That's the easiest way to think about it. It's a pimple on the uterus. So if the young lady that you were talking about was having that kind of issue, you probably was hitting that space right there every time you would go deep.
I wouldn't hit nothing. This is a conversational client. Just be clear.
Whatever. Okay. So that's one thing.
So that part right there is what they're hitting.
Yeah, the cervix.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was probably hitting the little, the cyst that was on it, which was hitting up against it. The other thing that could have been going on with her, she could have endometriosis, which is where the lining of the uterus actually breaks through the other layer. So you know there's 3 layers. So you have your middle layer, your endometrium, which actually breaks through like that. So it's like these little pimple parts that break through the skin. Okay? It could have been hitting that.
Okay.
Or she could be severely inflamed from an infection that was going on. Like there's a couple of different things that could have been going on. But usually if it's when she, like if you just getting in, you're not even fully like deep in and it's already hurting, it's usually there's some kind of pathology on the outside of her cervix that's causing the issue. Or even she has the micro tears that we were talking about earlier.
Man, don't you guys want to know how to fix all this stuff? Well, you're going to have to wait because I'm not there yet. All right. So, because, and here's one of the main reasons why. I have been told also that one of the, if you don't mind, talk about the fact of how trauma affects the womb, which also affects the birthing of a child.
Okay, so as we all know, the womb, women, we are what's called the ultimate receiver or the universal receiver because we take in everything. We're also the nurturers, okay? Men are the protectors. They are the outside force protecting the inside, so to speak. With that, everything that happens to a woman, collects in her womb. And when I say everything, I mean everything. The trauma, it could be sexual trauma that may have happened when she was a child or even as an adult. It could have been a breakup that happened back in middle school. It could have been a best friend that was, they were really close with and moved away. It could have been a parent dying. It could have been, moving from city to city because they were military, whatever. All those emotions get trapped into the womb. And a lot of times, all that stuff, like unresolved situations, end up congealing in the womb. And that's where a lot of your cysts come from, a lot of your fibroids come from. Sexual trauma, anyone who's unfortunately had to experience sexual trauma of any type, male or female, but specifically female, the way it collects into the womb, it forces you to go in on yourself and you have this barrier up. Okay? And because you have that barrier up, what it looks like, how it manifests physically, usually ends up being in the form of PID, which is pelvic inflammatory disease, or PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, or even different forms of endometriosis or inflammation.
So now we're talking a little bit of my world. Okay. We're talking about alchemy. I mean, basically we're talking about alchemy here. We're talking about, how thought energy, which, is just energy initially, but, on a higher plane, but as it manifests in the physical plane, it shows up as these different pathologies. Yes. So a woman's mental condition, basically, if I'm understanding correctly, a woman's mental condition can create the physical conditions that they are going to the doctor and getting these medicines for and getting things cut out of them. Yes. And without resolving those issues, then that can persist and continue. Correct. And to take it even further, when it comes to the actual birthing process, it can be one of the things that can turn a typical 7-hour labor into a 30-hour labor. Ooh. It can be the reason why... Wait. So if y'all want to have a baby, and you want to have 30, 40 hours of labor, you got to get over your emotional issues first. Yeah. Before you get pregnant. Well, it would be helpful. It'd be helpful. Otherwise, but see, so here's the thing. A lot of times people suppress things so deeply, it doesn't even start to resurface until they get pregnant. So you saying that when my mom went through about 40 hours of labor, she was probably pissed at something. She was pissed and stressed. Probably. Maybe because my dad was drunk, wasn't that? Hey, that's outside my scope of practice, whatever you say. Nah. I mean, but she was went through like 40 hours of labor.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of reasons for a extenuated or protracted, extenuated labor.
Right.
But on a metaphysical level, that's what kind of ends up being the root of it. There's an issue that's unresolved. There's a fear that's unresolved. There's something there that the woman is holding on to that won't allow the baby to pass through the canal. It could be a safety issue if there was an issue of molestation or sexual trauma or loss or abandonment. If the male or the mate of the woman that is pregnant, if they're acting funky, it could be a thing of, just it's not safe to come out.
Right.
Because I'm too vulnerable.
So can some of that so does that trauma get passed along to the child?
Yes.
So so for some of you parents out there, some of the issues that you have with your children or the personality traits that you have with your children, that is a push or holdover from that stress, right?
It can be.
It can be.
Yes.
So let me engage you in this question then. Seeing as how we are people of color in America, when we when we contemplate the stress that our women went through during slavery and during Reconstruction and Jim Crow, how does is that energy being transferred from womb to womb to womb to the man and that sort of and so on and so forth?
Yes. So on a anecdotal level, okay, and anecdotal means it has not been a double-blind study that came out of Purdue or Duke University or the University of London, all that other craziness. So anecdotal is stuff that we have seen as midwives consistently throughout the years. And to give an example of one of the things that you're talking about, people who are hypersexual, okay, like unreasonably hypersexual. If you actually trace their lineage back, they were the breeders back during those times. They were the ones that had to constantly either produce children or were forced to have sex with either the master or the lady of the house or other slaves to keep them pregnant, right? Another thing is that transcends down the one like field slaves, that constant but that constant have to work. If I don't work, I die. Those end up being your workaholics.
Oh, really?
Oh, I'm sorry. Doesn't sound familiar.
Touch the nerve.
But yeah, they end up being your workaholics. People who have this, like, have you ever met someone that just always had this weird not fascination, but desire to have money, like by any means necessary? They didn't care if it was a stick of gum. They had to find a way to flip it to get money. Sometimes you'll look at them and always say that they existed in a level of lack. It's not necessarily a level of lack, but it's something that they've come from because they've had to struggle so hard to get basic living necessities, whether it be, I gotta find money to get food. I gotta find money to put with money. I gotta have. So if you go back through their lineage and trace back what was going on during those times, you would have found that there was somebody that was so deeply traumatized by having to always have money, produce money, that now it transcends over. And that's also part of the slave mentality that they talk about now.
Tracing my family heritage.
Hey, you never know what may fall out that tree.
My little stuff.
Hey, you never know what may fall out that tree.
Man, I don't know if you guys understand. Now, I don't want to miss questions as we go, so some of these is going to be a little disjointed because there are certain people asking certain questions.
That's fine.
So, Maroon Beauty 21 on YouTube asks, "Are Yoni pearls good?" Give your professional and your personal opinion, please, ma'am. Mystic Mama, Womb Goddess.
Okay. I know. Okay, so I'm going to say it like this. Okay, so the thing about Yoni pearls is that so for those who don't know what Yoni pearls are a net ball that has certain herbs in them, and then the woman places them up her vagina, and it sits there for about 2 to 3 days. Here's the human body. It doesn't belong there. So it's going to find a way to kick it out. It's going to attack it as if it's a foreign body. So a lot of times when women use these yoni pearls and they pull, and they, after their 3 days, they pull stuff out, and there's all kind of tissue and all kind of cervical mucus and all kind of just rank nastiness. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. However, I don't rely on them. I have personal issues with putting herbs, like the actual physical herb, into my body in that manner and leaving it for so long.
So would you say that some of the, even though it's designed to pull some of the toxins out of a woman's vagina, I was going to say vaginal tract, but vagina is fine. Mm-hmm. But some of the stuff that's attached to it is what you're saying is that the body is trying to fight it as well. So not all of it is just your body is just polluted. It's your body is fighting and it's polluted.
Correct.
Okay, but we're going to talk about later an easier and better way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I'm not saying they don't work. I personally I don't appreciate it. But if it works for you, hoorah, do it.
Okay. All right. So
there was a question about something about BC.
Let's see. Papa, the master student. I never thought
birth control
were good at any time.
It's not. And here's the other thing too. So for men, condoms. All right, y'all need to check the condoms that you're using, because the spermicide that is used on regular condoms, like your regular Trojan, Magnum, and all that stuff, that spermicide 17, it actually causes prostate cancer. So you may want to switch it up a little bit.
So what should they be using?
Vegan. Vegan condoms. I'm not gonna lie. Like literally, the vegan condoms are the best ones. Not only that, but most women are allergic to latex.
I know, but when you say vegan condoms, it makes me think like vegan is usually referred to for food. So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
See, I'm about to say something really
it's
nasty.
Like a nasty thought in my head. Like that sounds disgusting, but I get what you're saying. The adult in me gets what you're saying.
But the
little child in me.
And he said edible.
See, exactly. The adult thinks, yes, but the child says, ugh. But I get it. So vegan condoms. So these are basically condoms that are not made out of animal proteins, and they are, but they don't have all the chemical things that can do damage to the woman and man.
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, there's more. Shondell Thomas. Yeah, there is more. Honey, there's so much more out there. Actually, you can Google it. There's a brand that's carried in Walmart. It's called Skin. It's a vegan condom.
So they ain't got to do nothing special. They can just go to Walmart and get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see?
Walmart does carry a line, but you have to be, you got to read the back of stuff. You got to read the ingredients and stuff. And my thing
Amazon.
And my thing is, when you're reading the ingredients and stuff, if you cannot pronounce it,
then you shouldn't use it.
You shouldn't use it. But then again, you can also look it up and get the layman's description of what stuff is. Okay. Because sometimes what what companies use, they'll use the botanical, organic, or the organic name for a product as opposed to the generic name, just to throw people off and be a little fancy.
Now, what about since she asked about the Yoni pearl, so that people aren't confused? What about the Yoni egg?
I knew you about to ask about the egg. Okay.
Well, because when she first said Yoni pearl, honestly,
you thought it was the egg.
My brain was thinking about the egg. So when you started explaining about other stuff, I was like, wait a minute, that ain't the Yoni egg.
Yeah. So Yoni pearls and Yoni eggs are completely different things. Yoni pearls legitimately is a little bag with herbs in it that you insert into the vagina, and it's supposed to pull out toxins. Yoni eggs are actually, they can be gemstones, and for the most part they are gemstones. And what the actual Yoni egg does, it helps strengthen the pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor of the of the womb is like that perineum area. It's the muscles, it's the ligaments that are attached to the womb. Okay, and what it does, it helps strengthen. So just like you go to the gym and you work out.
Right.
When you first started, you probably couldn't lift that 500 pound weight. But after about 2-3 months, maybe even after a year of consistently working out it's just like, bam, no big deal. Do them 500 pound squats like it's no big deal, like a big dog. So it's the same thing. Okay. Women and men can actually work on their pelvic floor to strengthen it. When you strengthen your pelvic floor, that's also that thing that everybody talks about, the Kegel exercises.
Right.
So
now I do male Kegels.
Yeah, but that's part of your pelvic floor.
Right. Because there's no Yoni egg for men. No.
That's a lady.
No.
That's a girl thing. But for women, what it helps do is help hold the baby in longer.
Okay.
And it helps from having our uterus prolapse, which means the uterus falls out the body.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So the Yoni eggs are good for, like, if a woman knows she wants to get pregnant, to not only just for the intimacy aspects of it, but it's also good for strengthening a woman's womb so that when she's pregnant, it can better take care of the baby and hold it in. And then what about when it's time to release the child?
Okay, so even if a woman did nothing at all, the baby's gonna come out.
Right.
Okay. The body knows what it's going to do and when it needs to do it. So a woman doesn't have to scream. She doesn't have to push. She can literally just breathe.
Right.
And the baby's gonna come out.
Now that's why I brought that part up. Because I already knew the answer, but I just wanted you to say it. All these things that we've grown up in Western medicine, seeing the woman with her legs up and she's like, and doing all that pushing, they tell her to push, right? The body naturally will release the child. So why is it that they're telling the woman to push and everybody thinks that the woman is supposed to push?
Because that's the way society is taught it.
Right.
Literally, that's just it. It's just the way society is taught it. Even from laying on the back, because it's easy for the professional.
Go ahead. That's where I was going.
Because it's for the person that's catching the baby. It's not for the parent.
So y'all hear that? So basically, what she is saying is that all these doctors who got y'all laying on y'all back when you get ready to have the baby and getting you to push ain't got nothing to do with the health of you or your child, but it's really about the doctor being comfortable to deliver your baby, which they are putting you in the wrong position.
Hella wrong position.
So as a doula, birth worker, midwife, what is the proper position that a woman should be in?
Squatting.
So like the water birth, water pools.
Water birth is fine, it's beautiful. But even within a water birth, squat.
Yeah, like Shondell saying that he thought the natural way was for the woman to squat. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. And for Miss Thanique Francis, yes, I actually have used Yoni eggs before. I actually used the amethyst, the egg.
The amethyst.
So you put up a slice going
Amethyst.
down. Yes.
Like the amethyst.
The gemstone
The
amethyst.
gemstone amethyst?
Yeah. Most eggs are gemstones. So anybody who knows about
hold on, man. I have an amethyst. That thing is rough.
It's shaped like an egg.
Yeah.
It's smoothed out, it's shaped like an egg. Okay.
Wait, y'all. Wait.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. Anyway, so I cannot with you. I cannot with you. Oh my god.
You gonna put this up in there?
You know what? Okay, anyway, DID. If a 7+ day menstruation is too long, is there a no? He's a weirdo. Don't pay him no mind. Okay, so here's the thing about the length of a cycle. Once upon a time, we were so in tune and in line that women could actually menstruate for 1 day, and it would be less than about the amount of a thimble full. But as society progressed, if you want to call it progression, as societies moved away, ebbed and flow, a lot of things changed. And so now the standard, or the new standard, is 4 days, 3 to 4 days. So even if you have a menses that is 1 or 2 days long, that's actually a little too short, because your body actually needs to get all that stuff out. You actually don't have enough blood to cleanse your womb. Okay. So it's like a real delicate balance. So like a lot of athletes that have issues getting pregnant, it's because they don't menstruate.
Right. Yeah, I've always known that. Like when a woman like, but from my like bodybuilding days, and then when I was a personal trainer, it was always the idea that when her body fat got low,
that's part of it.
Then she would stop menstruating. That was the only thing that I ever known is that her body fat got so low, get down to like 7%, then she just wouldn't.
But
what you're saying is,
well, the other part of it is that the hormones are off.
Okay.
She has too much progesterone and not enough estrogen. Too much testosterone, not enough DHEA. So what happens is that because of those imbalances in the hormones, it causes the menstruation to be off. It causes her ovulation to be off. So she doesn't produce enough blood to actually release, and stuff ends up congesting or backing up into her body. So when she finally does like stop working out, it's hard for her to get pregnant because there's nothing. I mean, well, it's not that there's nothing for the egg to attach to. It's just that it's a false wall. It's fake.
Okay, so they got to go through some process to kind of rebuild that wall. And is that part of the solution that we're gonna get to a little bit later? We're gonna get to that solution, y'all. We're gonna get to it. I promise. While I'm making sure we didn't miss too many questions, go to Mystic Mama on YouTube and subscribe to her channel, because she's gonna be dropping this kind of knowledge on a constant basis, y'all. So she's gonna be dropping this kind of knowledge. So go to Mystic Mama and make sure you spell it MOMMA on YouTube, as well as find her on Facebook and so on and so forth. Did you get the question? All right.
What are your views about women having those glands removed or having their tubes tied? To be none of it is natural. That is absolutely correct. It's called the periurethral gland. Wait, are you talking about the periurethral gland, or are you talking about the fallopian tube? Because when a woman gets her tubes tied, it's the actual fallopian tubes that are disconnected. They still are in the body, but they're just disconnected. And there has been situations where they grow back. So I personally don't agree with it, but I am not going to tell another woman not to do it. If she does not want to reproduce anymore, I think that is her biological right. It is not the right of the government or even the right of her man. If she does not want to go through the process of giving birth again, then have at it.
And she get her tube side.
And she can get her tube side. However, there's a side effect. So if a woman gets her tube side pre-menopause, it can actually send her into menopause.
Right.
Because the hormones are out of balance yet again. Does it or will it cause? It can. It can.
And let me. This is just for me. This is my opinion, Coach Renz's opinion. If you're with a woman and y'all are in a committed relationship and y'all decide that y'all don't want to have kids anymore, I don't personally. Dudes, go get a vasectomy before you have your woman get her tube tied. Getting her tube tied that's a massive surgery.
Yeah.
Whereas getting a vasectomy, they poke 2 little holes and they chip and you done.
And it's reversible.
You back on, and it's no.
It is. Yours may not be, but it's reversible.
It ain't reversible. Nothing. Mine is not reversible because my mind says it's not reversible. But I'm just saying, I had that done instead of because I think I told you guys before, my kid's mom kept having toxemia. She almost stroked out. I was not going to be a widower with some small babies. So it was easier for me to get a vasectomy. Plus, I was concerned about what you just said. I didn't want her at, 30? 28, 29? No, like 28, 29 to be going through menopause. You know, or possibly have the possibility of going through menopause. You know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, dudes, look. In all actuality, and I'm going to be a little bit raw here, so if y'all don't like it, you'll be all right. Grow up. When you get that vasectomy, bro, and after the doctor not cleared away and said, there ain't no swimmers in there, you don't have any problems. Everything still feels the same. Nothing is different. Except you are stress-free. When you let go, there's no stress. You ain't no baby coming out of that one. You are stress-free.
But that does not stop you from getting some other critters.
Well, you can get some other critters. I'm just saying, as far as having a baby.
Okay.
Having them short people in your life. I'm just that.
The 18-year commitment.
Yeah, that 18-year, 6 more months. 6 more months. If my son Lincoln is watching this, 6 more months, boy. The reason why I see because a lot of black women have this issue in their womb.
Yeah, and it's tons of stuff between the food and like legitimately, they actually did a study, and I think majority of women heard about it. That was published. Mm-hmm. It came out of, I believe it came out of UCLA. It was published maybe about 10, 15 years ago that the relaxers that we were putting in our hair to get fried, dyed, and lazy inside, it was directly causing fibroid
issues in women. I saw that.
Yeah.
And another thing, for all my people who like to dig into history and everything, God, I forget her name. Like, a part of her name is in my head. Stans whatever. The lady who started the little family planning organization back in the day.
Oh, Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood. Mm-hmm. Like, that chick's mission was to sterilize black women.
Yeah.
Right? So, don't think that the ghost of that lady is gone. Because there's still efforts out there to sterilize people under the name of, population control. Mm-hmm. And they want to sterilize. And it's not just black people now. It's anybody who is lower income, they are looking to sterilize.
Yes. Howsoever, it's not so much sterilize as it is to get the stem cells.
All right. Margaret Sanger. Yeah.
Yeah. It's to get the stem cells. So what they actually do, because our stem cells have been able to help, what's the word? Oh God, I can't think of the word anymore. But
we got some more knowledge coming.
I can't think of it.
I don't know.
Regenerate, that's right. No. Our stem cells have the ability to regenerate faster than those that are melanin recessive. So actually what happens, like when they go to the abortion clinics, whatnot, they take the fetuses that are aborted and they actually use the stem cells to recreate medicines and recreate the ability to regenerate body parts.
That's gangster.
Yeah, it's real gangster.
Oh, and speaking of stem cells, let me tell you guys something.
Yeah, after birth too. That's why it's very important. Take your placenta home with you.
Yeah.
Even if you don't eat it, bury it. It's yours. You came in with it, leave with it.
And they can't keep it. You can take it. Mm-hmm. And I did this. The doctors tried. Well, actually, the first doctor, who was the Indian doctor in Germany, because my daughter was born premature, they kept her attached to the uterus. The placenta.
Yeah, the melatonin.
They kept her attached to the placenta until it naturally fell off. Right. We're gonna get to that, Papa. But they kept my daughter because she was premature, so they kept her attached to the placenta. So when I got to America and my second daughter was born premature, and I told the doctor I wanted her to stay attached to the placenta, the doctor was like, no, we can't do that, and all that. I argued and fought with that dude, and then they created a waiver for me to sign because my child stayed attached to it, and I did that with my son as well. And them jokers, healthy, it decreased the amount of time that they got sick, went to the doctor, all that. They got all their stem cells. Yeah. All their mama's stem cells, genetics, all that stuff. All up in there. Yep. So if y'all are younger and you're having a baby, whatever, leave your baby attached to the placenta. And yes, Papa, many cultures, indigenous cultures, eat the placenta. In our culture today, you
placenta encapsulation.
Encapsulate the placenta and take it like a pill after it's been dried out and everything.
Yeah, dried and ground, or you can actually eat it like a steak.
And why do you do that?
Well, in postpartum, that's when we give it to the women.
Because she has postpartum clients, y'all.
Yes.
She does the postpartum work.
It helps with the baby blues because, first of all, being pregnant is already a hormonal roller coaster. And then when you actually deliver the baby, you're on a whole nother type of hormonal roller coaster as everything starts to shift back in place. And then you have this influx of like oxytocin coming in. Oxytocin is what makes women love the child. Oh. It's what makes her connect to the child. So it makes her breast milk comes in. And it's very overwhelming at times for some women. And some women, and it usually happens to women who give birth in a hospital more so than women that give birth at home. So when they're in the hospital, they have a higher level of depression and even postpartum psychosis. And so what happens is if those triggers start happening in the postpartum section, we encourage women to eat the placenta. Mm-hmm. Like we talk about it prior to, like if there's a possibility of any type of mental health issues or anything like that, or even if it's just a thing of, well, I don't know what to do with it.
Right.
I was just gonna let them, take it to pathology. No, boo-boo. Take it home, eat it. Even if you don't eat it, bury it. Like it's yours. Don't just let it go to the lab.
To the lab to have it. Now, you also, in our conversation about this, you also mentioned that consuming the placenta, whether it's encapsulated or like a placenta steak,
or a milkshake, or a tincture, or a cookie.
But you said that since the woman going through the birth loses so much of her energy or something like that it helps bring back her immune system and all that kind of stuff.
Her vitality.
Her vitality, yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, it helps bring back her vitality. Because think about it. With all due respect, she just cooked a human.
Just cooked the whole
Just
human.
cooked a whole human for like 10 months.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Papa, you crazy.
Yeah, and animals eat the placenta. So.
Animals eat the placenta, that's right. And, we are a reasonable animal, but we are still animals, okay? We still animals. Now, guys, because, we do want to keep to the time, we're going to start talking about how one of the best ways to start having better womb health and men penile and prostate health, okay? But first I want to start out with a little controversy to it.
Okay, what's up?
All right. So now on her video, she made it on her channel, on Mystic Mama on YouTube. So go and subscribe to her channel on YouTube, Mystic Mama. All right, MOMMA. So at New Year's Eve, what's the lady's name?
Chrissy Teigen.
Chrissy Teigen, NBC, and it wasn't her just coming out of her mouth saying it. It was planned because they showed a picture of it. Chrissy Teigen talked about the fact that she does vaginal steaming because Gwyneth Paltrow had told her about it, and she'll do whatever Gwyneth tells her to do, obviously. And Twitter world blew up. People got mad. Oh, now my 12-year-old daughter is asking me about vaginal steaming. Because first, so with that little bit there, understanding that this is the current controversy around it, tell us the history of vaginal steaming before we get to the benefits cure-alls of vaginal steaming.
Well, there's one time back in bank, actually, vaginal steaming is an indigenous practice. There is not a single indigenous culture on this planet that has not done it. It has actually, for those who get into history, if you actually have a copy of the Ebers Papers, which is part of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, they talk about it in there. It's actually called fumigation or fumigation therapy. In the Orient, they have another form of it called moxibustion. In South America, it's called bajas. So, for those who watch foreign movies, actually, the best movie is the Kama Sutra. If anyone's ever seen the movie The Kama Sutra, okay, there's a moment where the concubine is getting ready to go service the king. And before, it's the first time he's dealing with her, so she's all dolled up. She done had the bath and everything else. And there's a moment where she stands over a pit of smoke.
Right.
She's steaming her vagina. She's getting extra lubricated. She's getting extra aroused before she goes services the king. So for those who are movie buffs, go back through the movies that you like so much and watch what they do. It's usually women sitting over a pit of smoke, or it's over a steaming water to clean their uterus or clean their womb, And traditionally, it's been used in the postpartum period to help clean the womb of leftover birth matter, placentas that have not completely been taken out. It's been used for prolapse.
Right.
And vaginal dryness. And it's been pretty much recently within the last 30 years, that it's actually been used to treat other conditions in the womb, such as the endometriosis and adhesions and cervical cancer and STDs and inflammation and all the other good stuff.
So all these people who freaked out, which I'm just going to go ahead and say it, whole bunch of white people who were caught up into European Western medicine. Because basically what you're saying, since you said all indigenous people,
all of them.
so before the Europeans changed alchemy into chemistry and biology and into their own, separated from alchemy, and they separated from the Hermetics, which is the
literally before we handed our bodies over to science.
They were doing natural pathology of steaming. And so please describe how it works and the fact that not all places that do steaming or have steaming, the mixtures, explain the different mixtures. Not all of them, but like just a little bit.
All right, so we all know that herbs do different things, all right? You have some herbs that are specific to the heart. You have some herbs that are specific to the lungs, some that are specific to the GI tract, and so forth and so forth. It's the same thing for the womb, okay? The two most vascular places on your body is your reproductive area, this includes men, as well as your mouth, right? So if there's going to be a way to infuse your body with the healing properties of anything, it's going to be through those two areas, other than actually breaking the skin and putting it directly into your bloodstream. Because putting it into your bloodstream is the number one most effective, quickest way to get to where it needs to go. But if you're not trying to break the skin, the most uninvasive way would be through the mouth or through the reproductive areas.
Right.
Okay. Plants have energetic qualities. And what that means is, like, if you have, let's say mullein, okay? People down in the South, a lot of us know what mullein is. It's that plant that grows really big, really tall, it has yellow flowers, and it's real fuzzy to touch. It's cold. It's what's called a cold or energetically cold plant. Whereas if you take cayenne pepper, which is actually a herb, and it's a cardiac herb, okay? It's hot.
Right.
All right? So if you have a whole lot of heat going into your womb, not that your womb is not supposed to be hot, but it could be too hot. And there's a heart-womb connection. And if you over-dilate the womb or those blood vessels, you can inadvertently cause a lot of damage. Okay? So what happens a lot of times, these spas, I'm not naming no names.
I don't want to get sued.
All I'm saying is they cookie cutter, and the blend that they use is technically a cleaning blend, but it's not necessarily for every woman.
Right.
Some women need a cooler blend. All right. So just how I said about the cardiac drugs or the cardiac herbs, excuse me. If you have a woman that is suffering from hot flashes, the last thing you want to do is set her on fire.
By
adding a whole lot of cardiac or hot herbs to her regimen, because it's just going to send her into, like...
See, shameless plug. This is why, ladies, if you are already steaming, or men, you should have somebody who understands the master herbalist, the registered nurse, the doula, all that, the midwife, because you don't want to just throw yourself out there and just take the general thing that everybody else is doing, because there are specific things to your body. And if you're not doing a consult, you need to know this. Now, so from my understanding, vaginal steaming in today's world is a box that you sit over with a hole in it, specialized box.
It can be.
Go to mysticmamaherbals.com. And there's a pot up under with a heating source. Boil some water. The water's boiling. And you put the herbal blend specifically for your needs in there. And then you can monitor how hot it, if it's too hot to your skin,
just get up.
Get up.
But get up, turn it down.
Turn it down. But how long do you sit?
Okay, so depending on a couple of different variables, it can be as little as 10 minutes, as long as an hour. Hour is not really recommended. Right. The standard time is anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. Now, you can accidentally fall asleep. Like, when I first started steaming, I fell asleep steaming. and I was on there for like an hour and a half.
Right.
But in real life, it's supposed to be 10 to 45 minutes. Activated charcoal. What about activated charcoal?
Yeah. 10 consciousness. A little more detail in the question. While he's writing up his question, fellas, I ain't ashamed to say it. Most of y'all will be though. I've done the vaginal. Well, it's not vaginal. I don't have a vagina. I have a vagina, so I can't. I've done the steaming. All right. What we call what's the prostate steaming?
Ooh, excuse me, prostate steaming.
We talking about vaginal steaming, so prostate steaming. So it's the same deal, dude. You know, you want to get those. So I'm 47. Right. I know. Come on, coach. My bad. I'm 47 years old. Now it is recommended for me to go get my prostate checked like every third year or something like that. Mm-hmm. All right. The idea of some dude or woman sticking her finger in my butt to feel around is not enticing for me. So, so the practice of prostate steaming mm-hmm. is a better choice because there are certain blends that you can have mm-hmm. After you get a consult that will keep your prostate from enlarging. If it is enlarged, it'll help to shrink it. And if it's not enlarged, it keeps it mm-hmm. In a normal state. Mm-hmm. So
well as hemorrhoids. Because a lot of you guys suffer from hemorrhoids and y'all don't want to talk about it.
Right, for all that pushing. Hey, let's be real. Dudes learn how to get on, sit on the toilet and push. You got to push it out like you have a baby. Yeah. And that can create that. So, the only thing that I will say about it, I mean, it's been good. It's good. But, you know, you got to make sure the tackle box is pulled up. It ain't
the twig and berries.
The twig and berries ain't sitting down in there.
Yeah, because then you
don't have the twig and berries sitting in the hole.
Yeah, because
then you're gonna
kill your swimmers.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But so that it's directly hit. And I know for a guy, you're thinking, man, I don't want to sit on no box with steam going hitting my butt. Would you rather have somebody sticking their finger in your butt? Would you rather your prostate become enlarged and then
you can't
get it up? Would you rather your prostate become enlarged and all of a sudden you got to go and pee a little bit, then you wait, then you go pee a little bit, and you're having all these problems?
Or premature ejaculation.
Premature ejaculation because you ain't got no muscle control down there and your prostate too big. So get over the ego. Get over the ego. That's why I said this ain't just for women, guys. This is for us as well. So let's get over our ego.
Yeah. So there's a question on the board about the benefits of activated charcoal. Activated charcoal is generally digested only. You don't want to take it in any other form.
What about the toothpaste? Oh, sorry.
You're cleaning with that.
Right.
Okay, but
that's not the same thing.
That's not the same.
Oh, okay.
Thing.
Hey, I'm here to learn too.
So it's the same. It's the same thing, but you're not swallowing it.
Right.
It's to clean your teeth and get the extra microplaques off the teeth.
But the activated.
But what he's talking about is actually you digest it, and it's for heavy metals.
Okay.
It's for heavy metals to pull out heavy metals out of the body, as well as in the medical paradigm, they use it for people who've overdosed.
Right.
Or they've pretty much overdosed.
Now, in the vaginal steaming, in your experience, have you seen women have heavy metals come out of their body?
No.
No heavy metals?
Not like that.
I mean, not like a quarter drop.
Yeah, no, not like that. It's not that kind of thing. The main thing steaming does, okay, understand what steam is. All right, for those who've ever had a facial, that's what steaming is. The same way you steam the face is the same way you steam your womb. For y'all who've power washed the house or power washed the driveway, there's steam involved there. There's a power behind that, and it gets into the crevices of everything. Steam does the same thing. So it loosens up stuff that's not supposed to be there.
And so it's like, the herbs and things are getting in there. Mm-hmm. So instead of having that pearl in there, and the direct contact of the herbs, this way it's penetrating through water vapor into the woman's
the cells.
And if it's the right pathology, if you got the right blends, the natural blends of herbs and things, then you're saying that things like endometriosis can be cured without going through all this.
It can be reversed.
Reversed.
Can't say cure.
What's the difference?
I'm not an MD.
Oh, yeah.
Medical doctors are the only ones allowed to say cure.
Can I say cure?
You can say what you want to say. I can't say that.
Oh, okay. It can be cured. Because cured and reverse is the same thing.
Legally, it's not.
Okay, well, morally it is.
Uh-huh.
All right, so.
Tim, did I answer your question about the activated charcoal, or was there something more specific you wanted to know? And Shondell, so you're asking about would steaming be better than an enema? No. Enemas do something completely and totally different. Enemas actually go up through the anal canal, through the anus into the colon. And your colon does this thing. It's about a mile long when you take it out. And what happens is that you have fecal matter that traps into the corners, and that's what makes it hard to pass. You have gas that gets trapped up in there, you have mucus, you have all kinds of stuff. Steaming will help per se. It'll help loosen it up. But what an enema does is it actually gives the force and the power to break up the matter, the fecal matter. Yes, colon cleansing is very good for the body.
It sure is.
I prefer hydrocolon therapy versus the digested stuff for the colon, because the stuff that you digest, it only really reaches the top layer of your colon, and it causes your colon to spasm, and that's what causes you to defecate. Hydrocolon therapy legitimately is a power wash up the rectum.
I've personally, I'd rather do the hydrocolon therapy. Even though as a guy, I ain't gonna lie to you, that when they was like, get up on this table and you gotta, like, the way you gotta position yourself and that little tube and everything, ego wise, I was like, this ain't cool. But then once the process started and I started seeing some stuff, I'm all down for the hydrocolon therapy. So, set your ego aside. But that's cool. That works.
Yeah, and it's instant too. When you do hydrocolon therapy, you literally lose weight that day.
Yeah.
Y'all remember the Marlboro Man?
But you might have to go like.
Oh, you have to go a couple times.
Because when I first went, the lady told me I need to come back like 6 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And I don't think she was just trying to sell me. I think she was like, bruh,
you got some stuff up in there.
You've been eating meat for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to come back.
You remember the Marlboro Man?
Yeah.
So he did hydrocolon therapy for the first time. And I think they reported that he actually lost 75 pounds of just straight tar.
Ooh.
From his body when he did his first hydrocolon therapy. But that's what I'm saying. That's what gets trapped in your body.
That's disgusting.
And the thing is, like, we always talk about, having, I'm always tired, I have chronic fatigue, I have this unexplained acne, I have this unexplained blah, blah, blah. A lot of times it's the stuff that's in our colon, parasites, and what we're reacting to is the fecal matter of parasites.
You know what's interesting about parasites? And I know we're supposed to be talking about womb health, and we're going to get back to womb health in a second. Like, the first time I did the hydrocolon therapy, when I say first time, I only had one session. Going back to the other ones. I was kind of disappointed. I ain't seen no parasites.
Well, I mean, it don't look like a grub worm, so I mean, you're not going to see it. You got to put it under a microscope. The only one the only parasite that's visible by the human eye is tapeworms.
Oh, I don't want to see one of those. That freaked me out. Like, I know I sound crazy, but yeah, I was like, man, I want to see some worms and all kinds of stuff. Because then, at least I know they're out. It's kind of like, I know they're out. Mm-hmm. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense, but leave me alone. Let's see. Is it expensive? The hydro, it depends. Like, look, go find your Groupon for that first session. That'll knock the price point down. But on average, it's about what? $75. So, yeah.
And
per session.
Most health insurances will not cover that.
Nah, that's gonna be stretch your pocket. But it's worth it. It's worth it. And especially if, like, you guys know, I went straight vegetarian some months ago. I was 90% vegetarian before that. If you made that commitment, then make the commitment to go through at least 3 or 4 sessions of it. Just, hey, I always tell you guys, say 10% of what you earn is for you to keep. So invest some of that into yourself, right? You can't make money if you're dead, or if you sitting around talking about something like, what, John Wayne had like 75 pounds of undigested meat in his system or something like that. You don't want to walk around like that. So let's get back to steaming.
Well, that's just part of it.
That's just part of it.
Yeah.
What's the other part?
Well, the other part is actually, okay, again, When you detox your body, you have to replace it with something. Okay. So when you detox your body, okay, so for a woman, when she detoxes, understand something, women. All of our hormones come out from our womb, meaning the hippocampus, the adrenal glands, all of that's triggered by what's going on in our womb. So check it. Here's something I just recently discovered. I was actually part of a conference with a young lady in the UK, and she's doing a study to show that bipolar, manic, mental situations, over 50% of them are caused by congestion in the womb because of the buildup of all the hormones and the influx of hormones. So she's actually started a study where, and she's a psychotherapist, where she's making, as part of her healing regimen for her patients that are in the facility, all the women have to steam. And she said so far, 25% of them have technically had their bipolar reversed because of the hormone buildup and the release of all the congestion in their womb.
Man, y'all didn't know that, did y'all? I didn't know it either. I had no idea. I mean, just think about it, man. Yes, the steaming for men is mostly for your prostate, right? But the prostate is so valuable to men. But look at how many things are just in the womb.
Everything.
Right? Now, a lot of y'all wear this, and we talk about this all the time. Let me make sure y'all can see it. We talk about it, and y'all know this part is supposed to represent the womb, everlasting
Testicles,
life,
penis.
All right, so.
Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna take Snoop Dogg's position on that. He ain't got no black women around him to get him straight. Ever since his mom transitioned, he lost his mind. He been crazy. But you know, that's what I'm gonna say to that. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Anyway, but so
love you, Kanye.
If this is representing that everlasting life, right? And as Zaire was saying earlier, that all indigenous people, you can find it. And what was the Evers Papers?
The Evers Papers.
Which is
what?
I mean, I know what it is, but I'm just giving you
sorry. It's from the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Right. So they've been talking about this. See, a lot of y'all, we wear this, but we only know some of what it means and not all of what it means. So steaming, getting those things out of your womb, getting out that congestion, getting those traumas. Now, as far as the mental traumas, that say a woman had been raped, a woman had been sexually abused in other formats, she's been mentally abused. All that is inside her womb, and now she want to have a baby, and all she's doing is pushing that into the child too, right?
Yeah.
So vaginal steaming
it'll help release a lot of that. We actually use vaginal steaming for women who have been sex trafficked.
Oh.
To help them get through their mental stuff, unpack all their mental stuff, and be able to reconnect to their womb from a mental and spiritual place. And then they are successfully able to to be pregnant and actually have fulfilling relationships.
Right, so are you saying that some women who are not able to have fulfilling relationships intimately and mentally and spiritually and emotionally is because they got all this congestion in their womb?
Yes. And
if they go through this process, it could reverse that so that they can then start having better relationship. Now, I want you to read his question before I go to the next thing.
All right, so Tim Consciousness, he says, it's a shame that most of our people are closed-minded to this info. They just keep running behind their medical doctors and their drugs. They actually get mad at me when I show them some info. It's a damn shame. And yes, I'm in 100% agreement with you. Unfortunately, like I said before, we turned our body over to science. Some of it voluntarily, most of it involuntarily. But we turned our bodies over to science.
Oh, yeah.
And for women, we turn, and no disrespect to any brother listening, but we turn our bodies over to a creation that cannot do what we do. You know, the main thing is males experimented on us to figure out why we were so badass.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not a feminist or anything like that, but like real talk, we creatress, we do this, you know, and it's our position, it's our biological duty to help regenerate and populate the earth. Yes, we need you guys to help, But once y'all do that, it's like boom, 10 months. This is all me. you
Right.
know,
No, I'm with
you know, you can't really help. You know, you can like rub the feet and stuff, but
I'm with you. You know, I got tired of, you know, as you guys know, I used to be a personal trainer, master trainer, and nutritionist and everything. And it used to drive me crazy when people were like, well, my doctor said I got this, and my doctor said I got that, and they have all these medical excuses.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it's like, look, calories in minus calories out equals your weight. Now, did you lose a spouse? I talked to a young lady before. Did you lose a spouse? Yeah, you did. Were you depressed? Yes, you were. Those are factors. But at the end of the day, you're eating too much, or you're not eating enough, or you're stressed. You know, the stress is causing all this cortisol buildup.
most likely it's bad food combination.
Yeah, and then I would tell them, and then they're like, "Well, I don't eat that much. Show me your food journal. Show me your food journal."
Steak potatoes.
You know, when I look at the journal, I see that you didn't eat that much, but you had ice cream. Oh, I just had a bowl of ice cream. Okay, you had like 3,000 calories right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can come back and watch the video from the very beginning. It's going to be posted. So, you know, we do have to go back. Because the earth, like what did Smokey say?
What?
Weed is from the earth.
Oh boy, whatever.
But I'm just saying, everything on the planet, there are plants on the planet. That planet is naturally
There is
designed.
a plant on the planet to heal every single ailment that hinders human life, period.
And why do the medical establishment not use it?
Money, money, money. They can't make money off it. But the funny part is that if you actually get a PDR, which is a physician's desk reference book, it actually breaks down the chemical compounds of every medicine that is used in our formularies. The majority of them have a basis in plants, whether it be a root of this, a seed of this, a bark of this, a leaf of flower, whatever. It starts out that way. And then they add all the drama.
Right. So they add the drama so they can patent it, right?
And it's kind of like going to a bad mechanic. You oil change, but then you left and then you leave, and then literally a week later, your transmission blew, your engine messed up, a belt broke. Because they done messed up something.
That's why they have all them other things. Your side effects.
What?
You have to understand, Andre.
The Andre School of Financial Literacy and Polygamy Science?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm wearing your one of his Passport Global shirts. Appreciate you. Andre, I'll explain Andre later.
Okay.
Andre is a brilliant guy. He's a brilliant, especially financially, he's a brilliant guy. Education-wise, he's a brilliant guy. That's his way of changing the paradigm. The more you understand Andre, you understand.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't pay no attention. He one of them New Yorkers. You know.
I love my New Yorkers.
You know how it's.
What's up?
I'm a true Southerner. She a fake Southerner.
I'm not even fake Southern.
Yeah, you from Florida. Fake
Exactly.
Southerners.
That's North Korean you talking about.
Exactly. Right. But 300 pounds of frozen mucus is ice cream. You're absolutely right. And I sure sell it to people every day. But so now it's a little bit of the fun, a little bit because we're getting close to the end of this show. So I said something earlier, guys. I need y'all to hear it. Please describe and talk to us about penis soaking. What do you call it? Penile soaking? Penis soaking. What in the blue hell
Not the head regular, but the blue hell
is penis soaking, and why should a dude be doing some penis soaking?
Okay, so penis soaking, literally.
Let's be mature, fellas.
Please. All right, so literally, first of all, the reason you would do it is if you have a suspicion that your partner has something, right? Bacteria, yeast infection, UTI, whatever. So remember how I said how the male reproductive system is? You have the urethra, which is a long tube,
Right.
goes right to your prostate, and then kind of splinters out from there. What penis soaking does, it does the same thing that vaginal steaming does. You have certain types of herbs for that particular situation.
Right.
All right, and literally you make a cup of tea.
A cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
Not too hot.
Please don't be too hot because you're gonna be mad. and you literally put your penis in it and allow the
Just the penis?
just the penis.
Okay.
All right.
Make sure you put the berries in too.
You know, berries
Just
don't
the
gotta go,
twig.
just the twig.
All right.
All right, you put the penis in, and what happens is the steam.
I'm just making sure they get it. Some people need visual.
Oh my God. Okay. The steam and the constituents of the herbs go up the urethra, and it helps break up any congestion that's within the urethra. Because what happens is your penis isn't constantly lubricated. The urethra is not constantly lubricated. So what happens is if there's an issue, I did too. Just like, what the hell? What happens is that the bacteria or the mucus can literally dry up within the urethra, therefore making it hard for you to urinate. It can also cause crystals to form within the urethra, which can get into your urinary tract, and it just kind of spirals out of control from there. So what penis soaking does, it actually does the same thing. The steam gets up into the urethra, it helps expand the urethra, and it helps pull out anything that's just kind of sitting, hanging out, dried out along the urethral walls.
And how long should you?
Just so it gets cold.
Oh, just till it gets cold?
Mm-hmm.
So you just sit there with the cup
Yep.
and just let it soak.
Do it during halftime.
And see, she making jokes.
Not like you know.
But so you just let it soak.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh no, it's a special type of tea, found out. You're not going out getting Lipton tea.
No.
And putting it in. This is therapeutic herbal teas.
Like, shameless plug. Go to Mystic Mama Herbals. Have a consult with Zaire Saab, who's a registered nurse, master herbalist, doula, and all kind of other things, so that she can consult with you. You explain what issues you may or may not be having or suspicions, and then she will put together the blend for you and ship it to you with instructions for how to do it and how often you should do it. All right? So no, you can't go buy a bag of tea or some green tea or anything like that. You need to have a consult and then order the kind that she tells you from her, because she'll blend it up. Like I've seen it. She got a whole apothecary, right? And then she'll ship it to you. Okay? So I don't want anybody going off this podcast talking about I'm gonna soak mine in some Lipton tea. No, or I'm gonna
Arizona tea.
Right, or any of the women saying that I'm just gonna pour some Arizona tea into.
Don't do that.
I like the citrus kind and pour that into the pot and start steaming with it. No, you need to have a consult. And don't go to those places that just have the general stuff. Get a consult and get the specific ones that you need for you and your issue. If you got endometriosis, go through. How long would it take to reverse something like endometriosis?
It depends on how bad it is.
If it's the worst case scenario.
Okay, so currently I'm working with a young lady that has stage 4 endometriosis, which is the absolute worst kind. It is probably going to take her about 4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months?
Mm-hmm. To get it.
Okay. And how many times she's steaming?
Every day.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. When there's a pathology, you have to steam like every day.
Oh, well, it's kind of like if you're taking an antibiotic. You gotta take the antibiotic
gotta do it every
day.
Yeah.
But this is natural, better for
and
your whole body, and it feels. Oh, yeah. So since you said it, you was telling me, and this is not me trying to be funny, y'all. This is what she told me, that in her experiences there are women who have literally
orgasm
during the steam, but also during the steam, just whoo. And then also there are women who weren't having as much feelings down there, and then now they got their tinglies back, and now they can have orgasm like they used to, right?
Yeah, you can say it like that. But okay, so one of the side effects of steaming is that it increases the libido. Okay, that's what he's trying to say. It increases the libido. And the reason why it increases the libido, because one, if there's any pathologies, it starts to move it out the way. 2, the other thing that it does is that it brings moisture and it brings circulation to that area. And again, the 2 most vascular places on the body is the mouth and in the reproductive areas. So you have more feeling, more circulation, more lubrication down there. You can't help but want to share that feeling with somebody.
Night nurse. Oh, sorry.
That's my song. That's like my theme song.
So, I can't deal with you. But I had another question. I had another whole question.
So you being ratchet.
Oh man, you messed me up.
One of the other things too you should know, it's not okay. Vaginal steaming is great. It's beautiful. Everyone can do it. It actually does work towards reversing every single GYN situation that happens with women. But the other part of it is too that because there's been so much detriment to our spirit and to our bodies because of just living in Atlanta or living in New York or living in LA or just living on Earth, period. We also have to do something to counteract all the other toxins. All right, so like you can have all these issues and all these pathologies, but understand your body got used to it. Okay, so you have to start helping your body to correct when you start moving the pathologies out. So I'm a very big believer and promoter of tackle the issue from top and bottom. You know, I'm a high proponent of adaptogens. Adaptogens are herbs that help balance out imbalances within the body, whether it be hormonal or enzymatic or just function based. It's super important to pay attention to how you eat and when you eat. One of the biggest things is that the liver. A lot of us like to go out on dates and go out hanging, clubbing at night or whatever. And when we eat and drink after 10 o'clock at night, if we drink and eat between 10 and 3 a.m., we are not allowing our liver to do what it does. All right, we're making our liver work overtime. Okay, and it can't process what it needs to if it's sitting there trying to work on, you know, that all you can eat chicken wing special with a pitcher of beer. You can't do that. Doesn't work like that. Okay, the organs in your body produce certain enzymes and hormones at certain times of the night and certain times of the day for a reason to keep your body in a sense of homeostasis. So those are some things that we got to think about as well as part of our correcting our bodies, our mental and spiritual aspects.
So guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get ready to close out for tonight. I do want you to do me a couple of favors. I need a couple of favors from you guys. Seriously, I need a couple of favors. Favor number one. If you would like to see Mystic Mama on more shows periodically here with me, then I need you to tell me that in the comments. Now, I mean, you guys gonna say it right now, but also in the comments after the video, if you're watching this later, definitely say it in the comments. And she'll have access, I'll have access to be able to go back to this video and answer any more questions. So if you have more questions, if you're watching this video like a month from now, next week, go ahead and put your questions down because we'll try to answer those or come back and answer them on another show. Another thing I need you guys to do, very big favor. I need you to go to Mystic Mama's YouTube page and Facebook page and subscribe, especially her YouTube page. We're going to turn her into a YouTube personality, all right? Too often other people for stupid stuff get turned into YouTube personalities. This is the kind of information that we need going out like a big dog. So make sure you go to, if you do Mystic Mama M-A,
you'll get the astrological lady.
Yeah, you're going to get an astrology lady. Mm-hmm. You know, so go to Mystic M-O-M-M-A and subscribe to her YouTube channel because we need people of brilliance becoming dominant on YouTube and other social media platforms. The other thing, if you have an issue that, and we understand that you didn't say anything here, if you have any kind of these issues that we talked about or anything that you suspect, or you just want to get your health better, because she also produces tinctures and things like that for you, which is stuff you take on your lips, on your tongue. But go to mysticmamaherbals.com. mysticmamaherbals.com. Set up a consult and she'll put you on the right path. I've been telling you guys, you know, my herbalist is giving me these teas. My herbalist got me doing, you know, the prostate steaming, and my herbalist got me taking tinctures. This is my herbalist. Okay, so you. So that's why, you know, so guys, go and, I mean, I don't, you know, I don't promote people unless I've tried their stuff. I didn't promote Andre's shirt until I got one and put it on.
Dang. No, I feel you. I got it.
Because I don't want to tell you guys to do something and then I attach my name to it and it be jacked up. I don't do that. You know, if it's something, I got to try it before I buy it. You know, it's got to be good. Just like a lot of you guys order popcorn from Uncle Renz Popcorn, that's you, the letter U, the letter R, we're popcorn.com. And you give, you know, you do your recommendations after you've tried it, you know, and that's what I like. I'm the same way. So go to mysticmamaherbals.com, get a consult. Let's start getting your life right. You know, get it right, get it tight, you know.
Can I say something?
Yes. Oh, of course. And I'm actually, that's the last thing y'all gonna hear from me, except for, you know, you gotta free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. And I'm gonna give you the last word, and then we're gonna hang up on all y'all.
All right. So one thing, 2 M's, Papa. MYSTICMOMMA.
Thank you for that.
There's something that you guys really need to understand. Okay, life starts here. Okay. Y'all don't really understand the detriment and the snowball effect that happens when y'all abuse a woman. Regardless if you do it knowingly or unknowingly. You don't understand what happens when you shame her. You don't understand when you just hit it and quit it. You don't understand that stuff. A woman carries that stuff. Okay? And please understand something. If the ground is unfertile, if the ground is unclean, what kind of fruit is going to be produced? If it gets produced. Okay? We are all interconnected. You know, it's more than just each one teach one, each one heal one. Okay? Because this is your daughter. This is your mom. This is your sister. This is your auntie. This is your grandma. This is your auntie. This is inevitably you. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that things happen, you know, certain situations, but please understand that sometimes it literally is you. And then sometimes it literally is her. But understand, she's probably operating from a lifetime of stuff that she has not unpacked. Okay? So even if you have a young lady who has had a traumatic past, don't push her. Let her unpack her stuff. Be a man about it. Step out of your ego and be the different person. You know, if you have a woman who's told you all her life everybody's using to abuse her, don't be the same person. Don't be the same thing that she's used to. And unfortunately, she's going to hold you to all that. Unfortunately, she's going to make you pay for the sins of the past. We all do it. Y'all do it to us. We all do it to each other, unfortunately. And the only way to break all of that is to legitimately say it stops here. Okay? There are other ways to love other than physical. There are other ways to love than spiritual. There are other ways to love than mental. It's all inclusive. Okay? If we want better children, if we want a better nation, if we're going to build a nation, we have got to cure ourselves, period. There's no, and that's not negotiable, period. You know, because this life is guaranteed to give you hell and high water. Guaranteed, without a doubt. Keep the receipts and everything. You have to stand strong. You have to be strong mentally, physically, emotionally to stand up against the status quo. Sisters, when you go to the GYN and they tell you, oh, you have fibroids, let's do surgery, and hold on a minute, slow your roll, Capitan. Let's talk about this a little bit more. Not everything is resolved by taking out your uterus. Not everything is resolved by having to take medication that causes other issues that causes you to take more medication. Right? We have to take our power back. We have to take and reclaim ourselves back. Okay? Everything that is in your body can be taken out if it's not supposed to be there. Someone just typed in that they have fibroids. Hit me up. My email is mysticmama01@gmail. Hit me up, let me know. We can have a conversation, and I can work with you to get rid of those fibroids. You know, so that's my soapbox. You know.
Y'all know it's killing me not to have to say some more, but
Go ahead, say it.
No, because you're right. I mean, Go
ahead.
You know, she is so right. I told you guys in a video I did like last week. I did a video last week where I mentioned that there is not one woman. There's a very few. There's only a couple of women I've ever met that I've ever met or dated or married who did not go through some type of sexual abuse, whether and also mental abuse, right? Verbal abuse, all kinds of stuff, and physical abuse. And one of the things about it is, I recognize that I can't be the same as the other guys that she's dealt with. But there is I will admit, I haven't always been patient, and I haven't always wanted to do all the work. But we got to value our women at a higher level and be willing to do the work and be willing to be patient. Now, I will say this, it takes both parties.
Yes.
Because in some of those situations, it was just me trying to do the work. And she didn't want to. She wanted to hold on to it and keep those walls up. You know, and it's like the faster I knock a wall down, she put a new one up. So, you know, it's teamwork. And I hate that saying, teamwork make the dream work, but it's true.
Yeah.
If the dream is a strong nation with strong children and strong families, then it does take that teamwork. It takes both parties putting forth. When I did the video, I talked about the 72-year marriage. Both parties had to do work. Both parties had to be intentional about that thing. Yeah. So we got to be intentional about our health. We got to be intentional about our emotional health,
about who you
spiritual
love.
Health. Very intentional about who you love. Very. Let me get closer to this thing. Very intentional about who you love.
Let me say something real quick. Okay, so also understand that there is such thing as sexually transmitted demons. Okay, not just diseases, but straight up demons. Okay, because there's 2 times in this world that you can.
Andre, 2 t-shirts right there. I'm coming at you with those 2, brother.
There are 2 times when you actually make yourself spiritually vulnerable to take on someone else's ish. That is when you are physically asleep and when you're in the act of intercourse. You take on all their ish. And I say ish because ish can be a whole bunch of other stuff in front of it.
That's right.
But sexually transmitted demons, you can legitimately, as a woman, and even as a man, you can take on all the problems, all the dirt, all the grime, all the gutter from another person, and it completely will rewrite your destiny.
Yeah. So
you have to be super careful. Just because that sister looking good with that big booty and them heels, no. Okay? Just because he looking good and just because he looking good in them gray sweatpants, no.
That male lingerie.
Yeah, that male lingerie, no. Okay? Cut it. You got to protect your stuff. Okay? Men, your body is just as sacred as a woman's body. Do not let society tell you any difference. All right? Y'all get praised for being a hoe. No, that is not what's up.
And that's sexual trauma.
That is sexual trauma too. And for y'all who've actually had, like for men, if y'all had sex at 6 years old with the babysitter, boo, y'all were raped. Okay? You were sexually molested. Okay? That's a problem. I just want to throw that out there. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm back.
All right.
Sorry.
As y'all see it, you know what? She just as bad as me. We can be here all night, but we ain't. Because
we got 20 more minutes.
folks got to go to work.
Oh, yeah, this Tuesday, isn't it?
Folks got to go to work. So everybody got to get up. Everybody got to go to work. We got to turn and burn. We got to keep grinding, y'all. So, hey, again.
R. Kelly. That's a whole different.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Woo!
Don't even. No. We'll be here to, part two. Part 2 on that one. But, Rika, go back and watch the whole video and so that you can catch everything that we were saying for your fibroids and everything. And then contact Mystic Mama so that y'all can start working together, okay? And she ship all over the place, so she'll ship it to London, I believe. So, all right? I think that's right. So, look, guys, I appreciate it. We're definitely going to have Mystic Mama back. Now, I don't know when. We got to get some scheduling going. But still, make comments about it. Go to her website. Go to her YouTube. Subscribe to her channel. All right, that's right. I can remember a couple things, but but we're gonna keep we're gonna keep building together, guys. We're gonna make her a YouTube personality so we can get good information out there for our people and our women and our children. Because I got 2 girls. All right, my girls need to know this, and my big head son need to know all this as well. So I appreciate you guys, and for real, we done. So free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness
is non-negotiable, baby.
I did not say that.
I do.
All right, y'all know it takes a second for me to log all this stuff out. You gotta end this one.
You got so much stuff you gotta
That
end.
one. Appreciate you guys. Gotta end this one over here. Gotta hit the blog talk. Gotta be ended. Appreciate everybody. Everything is ending, and you guys are the last
Thank
one.
you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Love you so much. Goodbye.